So I love my Yak Attack cell block. I've been using it for a couple of years. It's basically just a dry box for your battery, and you can mount your graph right on top. So it's really handy because everything's in one place. You've also got an arm for your transducer, so you can just easily deploy that into the water. So it's really plug and play. It's just got a track mount on it, so you can throw it anywhere. I love it. However, I'm running out of space and I need to free up some room. So I'm actually going to ditch the cell block, and I'm going to end up moving my graph to the front of my kayak just to free up some space. I want to start throwing some more mounts and possibly a second downrigger on this side. I'm going to be fishing some different water this year. So this is taking up a lot of real estate for me. It's a great product and I love it, and I can't say enough good things about it. But when you need a little bit of extra space, unfortunately, it's the first thing to go because it's so bulky. So we're going to try that out today. I've got a few through-hull kits from Yak Attack as well. And basically, we're going to mount the transducer underneath the kayak. We're going to wire it up through the front, and then the graph is going to sit right at the front as well. So hopefully that'll free up a bit of space. The only thing I'm kind of concerned about is the size of the screen that I have. Obviously sitting a little bit further back from it and with the sunlight and different things like that. So it'll be an interesting experiment. I might end up coming back to the cell block. I'm not too sure. The other thing that I really love about the cell block is I can adjust the angle of the transducer. So when I'm down rigging and my cannonball has a lot of blowback and it's far behind the kayak, a little bit handy because I can just tilt this back manually. Now, when I mount the transducer under the kayak, I'm not going to be able to do that out on the water. It's going to be a bit of an experiment. I'm going to try it out, see how it goes, fish it for a couple weeks just before derby season starts. Obviously, you don't want to start throwing new variables into the mix when you're fishing derbies and stuff like that, but we're going to give it a try. I'll walk you guys through my setup, different through-hull kits and things that I'm going to actually use for the install. So if you're on the fence about the cell block, I'd say start with that because it's really great. It's so plug and play. It's so easy to set up, and you can mount anything to the top of it as well. So let's move this thing around. Let's get the transducer installed first, and then we'll worry about the graph after. There's going to be a little bit of drilling through the hull, which is always a little bit exciting and nerve-wracking, but I have drilled so many holes in this kayak now, it doesn't even bother me anymore. Okay, so I uninstalled my transducer from the cell block, and now we're going to actually install it onto the transducer mount first before we crawl under the kayak. When you're tightening this onto the mount, just make sure you're hand tightening your screws. Don't use a drill or an electric screwdriver or anything like that. Make sure you hand tighten because you do not want to strip the screws on your transducer. And same when you're doing any hull work on your kayak as well, do not use an electric screwdriver to screw your screws in. You do not want to strip those screws or you're in trouble. So the other thing, make sure you're installing it in the right direction. So underneath your kayak, it's going to be mounted like this. And you're basically going to want your transducer to sit inside like this. So on the top of the Garmin, there's 6 screws. You can kind of see the 6 screw holes there. And you want to make sure you're using the front ones and not the back ones, or you're going to run into troubles really fast. So you want to make sure everything's lined up properly and that you're using the correct screws. So when it's installed, it should look like that. So I'm going to get this installed and then we'll crawl under the kayak. The transducer mount that I'm using for this project is by Yak Hobby. It's the Old Town Garmin Universal Transducer Quick Mount. I'll put a link in the description below. They make some great products, but you'll just have to find the right mount for your transducer. So guys, I just double checked. You do want to use the screws that they provide with the mount. The factory screws are a lot smaller, so make sure you use these. They also come with washers as well, just to kind of protect the hull a little bit. We're just going to try to get it started and hand tighten it in there. So you can see we've got both screws just started. And the cool thing about this mount is you can slide up and down. So if you want it a little bit higher, it's going to sit a little bit higher under your hull there. If you want it a little bit lower, it's going to sit somewhere around there. Regardless of where you put it, it seems like it'll be at least flush with the hull of your kayak. I'm actually going to pull it up because I don't use any of the side imaging. If you need to use side imaging, you're probably going to want it a little lower. But because, again, I don't use side imaging, I'm fishing so deep, I'm going to put this at the maximum height and just tuck it underneath there. Okay, so there's the final installation. I'm not super happy with it. I had to battle it there for a little bit off camera. The left screw hole is actually giving me issues. And the other thing too, I've noticed, this piece doesn't fit quite snug with this, and it's not the mount's fault. It's the way that Old Town installed the screw thread on this side, it's off a little bit. So I kind of forced it into the corner here and tried to get it as lined up as I could. But basically the next step now, we're gonna feed this wire up through the scupper hole. We're gonna work on installing the rest here. All right, so the transducer cable is coming up through the scupper hole now. And I was just staring at the front of my kayak here, and I realized that my screen actually is using the same Yak Attack mounts as my camera. Normally I have my camera sitting here, but I think I'm gonna just temporarily use the same mount. I'll probably end up moving my camera over to this side. I was gonna put my graph on this side, but I realized that my downrigger would actually be in the way. So I'll just show you guys what it looks like. If we actually throw this right on the front here, that's gonna do the trick right there. That's pretty cool. I can't remember where I got these mounts. They've been on here for a while. They're not super stable, like you can see it bouncing around, but Pacific Yak Angler actually makes these plates for the Old Towns that sit right here, and it's gonna be way more stable. So I'm gonna order some of those from Brad, and that should solve my problem. But in the meantime, this is a really good temporary fix. Basically, my transducer cable is gonna run through a through hull mount that I've already got here, and I'll show you guys what that looks like in a second. And then my battery is gonna sit in here. And then I think I'm gonna put another through hull kit somewhere below the graph here, just so I can run my wires really cleanly up to the screen. But I'm just gonna stare at it for a little while and make sure I don't drill an extra hole if I don't need to. But I think that's the play. I think it's gonna look really good. I really like the view that I've got from my seat there too. And now I have all this extra room for activities.
Aerobics in here, so many activities.
Right on this track mount, which is huge for me. Gonna be able to do some really cool stuff there. So again, I don't know how the transducer mount underneath is gonna work with the downrigger, just because it's pointing very flat and straight down and I can't adjust it at all. But yeah, super stoked. That saved me a lot of work. I was gonna actually put a mount on the top of the kayak here and kind of put it in the corner, but you know, to avoid drilling an extra hole, it's probably worth it. Just to show you guys here, transducer cable through the scupper hole. I already have a through hull mount right here. We're gonna run our transducer cable through here into the inside of the kayak. And then the idea is that under the screen here, probably somewhere in the back, we're gonna actually drill another through hull kit and just run the cables up really clean to the back of the screen here. I just want to show you guys really quickly what these through hull kits look like. So they're really simple. It comes with this plastic piece. It's solid. It has 2 holes for screws. And then basically you get a couple of these, and it's just 2 rubber kind of half circles, and they've got a hole in it. So that's where your cable runs through. Now, obviously, the gauge of cable for our transducer and the power is much larger. So typically what I'll do is I'll snip right to the middle just to open that up, and then you can normally stretch it around whatever cable you have. The idea is basically just to keep as much water out of your hull as possible. So basically the idea is you drill a hole in your kayak, this sits inside of the hole, this goes over top here, just like that, and then you screw this down. So anytime you wanna add or remove wires, you basically have to unscrew this and then, you know, obviously feed your wire through and then screw it back down over top. So yeah, that's basically it. That's the setup and the system. Ultimately, it's just kind of a seal, like a water seal to keep water from coming in and out, but gives you the freedom to run cables in and out of your kayak. So it's kind of a neat thing. I really, really like these through hull kits. They're really easy to run and just gives you a lot of flexibility. Okay, so first step, obviously, we want to get the transducer cable inside of the kayak. So we already have a through hull kit here. So we're gonna just loosen this off here and take the plastic piece right off. And I'll show you guys how we get that cable inside of the kayak here. Okay, so you can see that came right off. You can see we have our 1-inch hole right here. The first step we want to do is we want to stick our transducer cable through this plastic piece. Don't forget to do that, or you're going to have to undo everything later. So do that. And then we're going to feed all of the excess cable straight through here. Let's do that quickly. There we go. Okay. So now we've got our plastic piece here that can just kind of fly around for a little bit. And the next thing we want to do is put this rubber piece around our cable. There we go. And you can see that the cable is just right in the middle of that now. We're gonna stick that right in the hole. Perfect. And we're gonna take this second rubber piece and we're just gonna stick it right underneath. This is where it gets a little bit finicky with heavier gauge cable, but you just ultimately kind of squish it in there and make sure that there's a really good seal, because this rubber piece is what actually keeps the water out of that 1-inch hole that you drill. That looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that there. So we're gonna actually bring our plastic piece up and over top, make sure that fits nice and snug, pretty good there. And then we're just gonna screw these back in here and we are set. That's all there is to it. That's how a through-hull kit works. Again, you don't need to over tighten these. Just make sure it's snug, but you don't want to strip these screws because you're obviously just screwing into plastic here. So just nice and easy. That's on there really good. We got a good seal. If you really wanted to, you could put some marine sealant underneath this before you screw this down just to give it an extra seal. But honestly, the little amount of water that I get in through here, I'm not too concerned about it. But if you really are concerned about it, go for it. It does help if you flip your kayak as well. It's a little bit extra protection, but kind of proceed at your own risk and do what makes most sense for you. So that's that. Now we've got our cable through here and we can just really pull that through nice and snug. And you can see now our cable is running right down through there and up through there. Next up is we're gonna actually install another through-hull kit right here. That should give us enough clearance when we do get the Pacific Yak angling plate, still cover it. We're gonna run it right down the middle here. So we've got our 1-inch bit on here and we're just gonna drill a nice clean hole through there. So let's do it. Yeah, you can basically file this away if you want. You can kind of hide the crimes a little bit when you put the through-hull kit in. So it doesn't need to look too pretty, but it's up to you. I typically like to just kind of sand and file that away. So just wanted to show you guys the battery I'm using. It's a Nokwa Yak Attack. Honestly, powers my Garmin all day. The other reason I like it is because it comes with this really nice quick disconnect. So when you want to plug your battery in, you just unscrew this and away you go. That's going to be really handy for us because we can store our battery in the front hatch of the Old Town and then just unplug it whenever we want to charge it up. And then we can basically just run the other side of the cable through the through-hull kit and then keep all of the excess stored inside the front hatch. So really handy, just kind of a nice out-of-the-box solution to powering your fish finder. Definitely recommend checking this one out. It's worth the price and the convenience for sure. Okay, so we're gonna throw our battery in the front hatch here. The other nice thing about the Nokwa battery is it comes with a little fuse in there. So that's really handy as well, just an inline fuse, so you don't have to wire any of that stuff up yourself. Nice, easy solution there. Okay, so now we've got our power cable and our transducer cable, and they're both in the front hatch of the Old Town here. So we're gonna actually run this through the hole we just drilled and then stick these right through the plastic piece. So let's do that right now. There's our power cable. Bring that through. And there's our transducer cable. We're gonna stick them through the plastic piece here. That's it, guys. Now we just got to put the little rubber pieces on, and you want to do them on the inside, obviously. Wrap those around there. There's one on each. So then basically we're just going to buddy those up just like that, and then throw them in the cap there. And you can see we've got really nice cable management. Not a lot of water can squeak in there. And the same thing as before, we're just going to feed these right into the hole. There we go. It's installed. We have our cables running through here now. We can also pull them in and out, which is really great. So we can adjust the length of those later. So that's it. That's all there is to it. So we've got our power cable and transducer cable. And we're just gonna put our mount back on top here. So our cables are nice and hidden under there now. We're gonna put our Garmin on top. Just like that. And we're gonna plug our cables in the back. We're all plugged in. Now the moment of truth. Look at that. Powered on. So we are all set, guys. Oh, this is so nice. This just freed up so much space for me. Oh, no issues at all. We're all hooked up. Everything looks like it's running properly. Amazing. So this is an absolute game changer for me now. So there we have it, guys. Nice, simple, clean install. You can see how versatile those through hull kits are. Like, you can run any type of cable through your kayak using those kits. So that's all there is to it, guys. Now we have our graph on the front. We have a lot more space on our track here for different mounts and things like that. Really clean cable management through the front hatch there. So you can see how versatile those through hull kits are. I'm also using it for my Newport throttle. So anytime you have cables that you need to run in and out of your kayak, highly recommend checking those out because they're really easy to install. Just a 1-inch hole you drill through, the 2 rubber pieces, and then the plastic cap that goes over top. So really simple, really easy to remove and replace cables in there as well. Just 2 screws and away you go. I'm super curious to see how the transducer is going to behave now that it's under the kayak and not on the arm of the cell block on the side. So with the downrigger again and the blowback from the cannonball, who knows? It'll be an interesting experiment, but I'm really digging the space that I have now and just the opportunity to do some other really neat stuff on this side of the kayak. It's been such a mess over here for so long and I've kind of ignored it. So I've been putting this project off for a while. Really excited that the install's ready to go. We're gonna get it out on the water in the next week and test it out and just put it through the ringer and see how it goes. I'll keep you guys posted as well on how the transducer holds up underneath, just transporting and, you know, dragging it across rocks and different things and seeing if the transducer takes any abuse underneath with the mount set up the way that it is. I don't think it's going to happen. I think that the transducer is tucked enough underneath that probably not going to be any issues, but you never know. I'll definitely keep you guys posted. Hopefully you learned something new today. If you have any questions, feel free to send me a message or comment below. I'll be doing a lot more tutorials like this as well and walking through the rest of my kayak setup. There's a lot of things on here that I've done that are really cool. I really want to show you guys how I have my Newport motor set up with the black pack as my battery holder, and I have a through hull kit on there as well. So really cool setup. I'll do a little walkthrough on that setup shortly. But in the meantime, if you have any questions or any tutorials or things you want to see, comment below, send me a message. However I can help you guys, let me know. Thanks so much for tuning in, guys, and I hope you all have a safe salmon season if you're fishing the Great Lakes or wherever you're fishing. Be safe out there, exercise caution, watch out for boats, and just have a blast out there, guys. We'll see you on the next one.